standing up to imperialism, determined to end this relationship that we have with the imperialist power. Earthquake, a real earthquake is about to happen. You know, one of the things that they did in Haiti was to help institute this situation where the children of the slave master were given this extraordinary power in Haiti. They became the go-betweens. They became the one that they put the wealth in control, in whose hands they put wealth in control. They called them mulattoes. And they did some dirty stuff, played a dirty role in Haiti. Mulatto is more than a complexion. Because if you look around the world, you see that all Africans have been victimized in so many places by rape. And we look in different complexions and what have you. That's evidence of the crimes of imperialism against our people, generally speaking. But some of us accepted the crimes. Some of us gloried in the crimes. Some of us were actually honored to have been the children of people who have been victimized by rape and plundered by imperialists. And these forces, these are children of the slave master. And in Haiti, they call them mulattoes. In South Africa, they call them coloreds. They give them special privileges over the rest of us. In a place like Portuguese-dominated Africa, they call them assimilados. In the United States, they call them Obama. Same difference. Same difference. Because what is happening, brothers and sisters and comrades, is that the world is changing. We live in a world where the whole political economy is one that has been constructed of slavery and colonialism. From this has grown this monster that people know as capitalism. Capitalism has no redeeming qualities at all. Capitalism brings death and destruction to people around the world. They like to try to say that one of the problems that we got in Haiti is that we need capitalism. They make the assumption that somehow if you're suffering in Haiti, it's because you need capitalism. They call it underdevelopment. Well, we want to say that Haiti is capitalism. That is capitalism in action when you look at Haiti. When you look at most of the oppressed and starving people around the world, you are looking at capitalism in action. Capitalism must go. Capitalism must be destroyed. It must be wiped off the planet Earth if people are going to be free anywhere. It's got to go. It's got to go. It's got to go. There's no redeeming qualities at all. And it is a social system that was born of slavery. The ideological foundation of capitalism is white nationalism. It is what people refer to as racism. It's the ideological foundation because capitalism was consolidated finally. You know, it wasn't built off the enslavement of black people. Marx called it a primitive accumulation because we have to ask the question, well, where do white people get all the damn money? Haven't you ever had to ask that question? You wake up one morning and then white people got all the money and you poor. So how the hell did this happen? Did I come into the movie late or something? And of course George Bush's explanation would be because we got all the money because we are good. Right? And wonderful. And because Santa Claus brought it to us, some other ridiculous thing like this. But the real world is that the startup for what we now call capitalism was the rape of the planet Earth. Because when most of the people out here met imperial white power, it was white people who were poor. It was white people who were diseased. It was white people who had no freedom. When most of us met Europeans, white people live under a system that they call feudalism. Under feudalism, it wasn't exactly like slavery, but it was the next closest thing to slavery. Where people worked, dominated by the landlords and the nobility. If they go to work, part of what they earn, they keep for themselves, but the most of it went to the landlords. That's what the story of Robin Hood is all about. Robbing from the rich and giving to the poor. Well, actually, we're not looking for Robin Hood. Robin Hood is part of the problem, isn't he? Because we're not looking for a way to keep robbing from the rich to give to the poor. We want to destroy the system of the rich and the poor, so there's no such thing as rich and poor. Isn't that right? So they were living under feudalism, had no freedom. The fact is, between the era of 1347 and 1352, 4 years, half the white people on earth died. Did you know that? Half the white people on the earth died in just that 4-year period from plague. They call it black plague, but we didn't have nothing to do with it. But not only did people die, horses died, cows died, dogs died, and people died. You heard the song Ring Around the Roses, Pocket Full of Posies. Well, that was a song that came from that period. You know how it goes? Ashes to ashes, what?
We all fall down.
We all fall down. It comes from that period way back then. That's how devastating it was that they're still singing nursery rhymes about it in schools today. So, if half the people die in a 4-year period, you know that they can't have a viable economy. How in the hell can you have a viable economy if half the people just died in 4 years? Look at what happened to Haiti. Only 200,000 people died. Not half the population. Look how devastating it is. If you want to see devastation, think about Europe, where half the people died in 4 years. The cows died, the horses died, etc. How did Europe rescue itself? It rescued itself by plundering, pillage, and slavery. We get told fairy tales in school that somehow the Europeans had some intellectual